Hello and welcome everybody, I am Brandon, and we got a news roundup today. Yeehaw! That's right everybody, I got the biggest and greatest game news of all week, all stacked into one episode here for you. Everything from Overwatch 2 beta impressions to Final Fantasy XVI being in the final stages of development, an Xbox showcase being announced, and a bunch of PlayStation Plus issues. We got all that and more on another episode of Game Corner. Thanks for watching everybody. If you like what I do, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and I'll stop wasting your time. So first up is Overwatch 2 impressions. As you guys know, we had the closed beta this last week and this weekend. I believe today actually is the last day of that I'm recording this. So as a huge Overwatch fan, what do I think about the game? I think it's going pretty well so far. I think the change to 5v5 is a really solid choice. It makes things feel a lot more concentrated, a little bit quicker paced. And on top of that, they've removed a lot of the CC moves from the game, kind of making it a lot less likely that you're gonna get stunned into oblivion or just locked down until you die. The new hero Sojourn is pretty solid as well. I really like her dash and high jump. It really allows her to jump around the stage and just get in there and mess some shit up. As a DPS character, that's what you're looking for. On top of that, she uses a machine gun that also has sort of a focused blast that you can use as you make charges on your gun. And I absolutely love her aesthetic. She looks straight out of Cyberpunk 2077 with those crazy cyber legs. Other improvements are the visuals. I absolutely adore the upgrades to the character models and the character portraits. They look like little toys or something. They almost have like a plasticky shine to them almost. It reminds me a lot of like a Pixar film. I know Overwatch has always kind of gotten a lot of comparisons to that sort of Pixar-esque look, but this one in particular really gives me like some Toy Story vibes. Anyway, 4K, 60 FPS looks absolutely fantastic. The upgraded character models are really nice to look at, especially on like Tracer. You can see all these extra little attachments on her chest piece, like little straps and stuff. It's just those little added bits and bops to their aesthetic really just makes all the characters fleshed out that much more. And I mean, that's what you're kind of looking for in Overwatch. Obviously, all these characters have really big, boisterous personalities, and I think that just is coming through even more here with upgraded visuals. On top of improved visuals, we also got a totally redone UI, totally simplified, totally stripped down. It looks great, very sleek and smooth, especially compared to the old Overwatch aesthetic, which was very kind of gaudy and big. And they've totally just kind of cut all that out, just made it really streamlined and simple, and added a bunch of really neat little features to the UI too. Like for instance, when you're getting healed by Mercy, there'll be like a little bubble that pops up next to your character's icon. Just a lot of little seasoning they added in there to really make things pop. That being said, I am very curious to kind of see what this game is going to kind of look at on release, because right now, even though it is very fun and I'm enjoying it quite a bit, this doesn't feel like a new video game. This just feels more like a giant upgrade or a giant update to the current Overwatch. And obviously, since this was just a closed beta, it was only multiplayer stuff, so we're just dealing with PvP. And obviously they haven't added in all the co-op missions and stuff like that. That's another one of the big pulls to Overwatch 2. Anyway, what I think we have here is pretty solid. I definitely would like to see more out of this. I'd like to see more from this project. I'm really, like I said, I'm curious to see what else we're gonna get out of this. I feel like they really need to add more to this to make it a full release, especially if they're gonna be charging $60 for this. That gets into a whole other can of worms, which is like, how much is this gonna cost? Are they gonna go free to play on the multiplayer side of things? What about if you own Overwatch 1 still? I imagine you're gonna be able to still play and not have a problem with any of that, but I mean, they've said that in the past at least. Anyway, a lot of questions still up in the air about what Overwatch 2 is and really what we're going to kind of be getting on that launch day. And obviously, we're still dealing with all of this Activision Blizzard fallout, and I'm still not really in a super comfortable position to be throwing down $60 to Blizzard right now. Next up, it looks like Final Fantasy XVI is in the final stages of development, and a pamphlet for the upcoming 35th anniversary Final Fantasy clothing line that Uniqlo is doing. The producer Naoki Toshida confirmed that Final Fantasy XVI is in the final stretches of development. This pamphlet was translated by @Ayataki Mochi over on Twitter, and it reads, "We're in the final stages of development for the new numbered game in the series, Final Fantasy XVI. We aim to deliver a comprehensive game full of story and gameplay. Unlike an online game that involves many players at the same time, Final Fantasy XVI offers a different experience where it focuses on the individual player and immerses you in the story. I think it's a very fleshed out story. For those who have grown up and realized that reality isn't kind to you and have drifted away from Final Fantasy, we hope that Final Fantasy XVI will be a game that can bring back and anew the passion that you once had with the series. So as you can see from the pamphlet there, they know that they need to knock this out of the park. And even though Final Fantasy 15 isn't exactly a horrible video game, it definitely was a huge letdown for the series, and I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. Like I said from the pamphlet here, we can kind of tell that Toshida seems to be kind of saying like, hey, we know that we've let you guys down in the past with this long development cycle that Final Fantasy 15 went through and all these issues that it had, and we're just sort of hoping that this game comes out and can, reinvigorate your interest in the Final Fantasy series. And that being said, I thought the reveal trailer for this back in 2020 looked absolutely magnificent. It was big, bold, and beautiful, just like you'd expect from a AAA Final Fantasy game. And it seems like the development cycle has been way kinder to this game. They definitely haven't gone through all these remakes and re-steps. If you remember, Final Fantasy 15 was actually Final Fantasy 13 Versus, and then it went through all this development hell, got changed into Final Fantasy 15, and then eventually was released to us in a very undone state. Speaking of that, actually, I bet Final Fantasy 13 Versus and Final Fantasy 15 would be a pretty good story for a WTF video. If you guys are interested in that, definitely let me know down below. Anyway, I totally dig that medieval aesthetic that they seem to be going for with Final Fantasy 16. Definitely seems like they're kind of taking a step back to that classic, like, crystal sort of Final Fantasy vibe. It even obviously gives me some Game of Thrones or even a little bit of Dark Souls vibes. They definitely seem to be going for a darker medieval sort of thing. Anyway, I personally am very interested. I definitely have my hopes up for this game. I think that it's going to end up pulling through for us, and I think they're going to end up bringing something really neat to the table. If you guys remember, this game actually was originally delayed because of the stinky COVID-19 pandemic, so I do think we're kind of on the cusp of getting a new trailer and kind of an announcement of when this game is going to be coming out here very soon now. But Yoshida did mention that we'd be hearing more about this game come this spring. Obviously, we're here now, haven't heard anything yet, so I almost guarantee we're going to see more about this game at Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest. Next up, we've heard a lot about the PlayStation Plus tiered service that's going to be coming out here very soon, kind of replacing PlayStation Now in the current PlayStation Plus system. And as we all know, with the new PlayStation Plus service, you're going to be able to stream and download games from a catalog, sort of like Xbox Game Pass, onto your PS4 and PS5. And thanks to a leak from a Reddit user, The Andrew, we got a list of leaked games that are going to be coming to the service later this year. So finally, we're getting our very first look at what games are going to be coming to the service. It looks like we got some PS1 titles here. We got a PSP title. All right, cool. Yeah, let's just take a look at here really quick. What do we got? Okay, yeah, we got Tekken 2 here, and Ridge Racer 2, and Mr. Driller, and 2 Worms games.
このたわごとは何ですか?
And other PlayStation Plus Premium news, we got Sony locking down on stacking PlayStation Plus memberships, as well as them releasing a very obnoxious chart about how all of this breaks down into your PlayStation Plus Premium service down the road here. So what happens when the new PlayStation Plus Premium launches and you're stuck with this old PlayStation Plus or PlayStation Now subscription? Well, lucky for us, every single person who either has a PlayStation Plus or a PlayStation Now subscription is going to be moved over to the PlayStation Plus Essential tier, which is our bottom tier. There are 3 tiers, if you guys remember. Really quick, if you guys need any more information about the PlayStation Plus Premium tier system, I got a whole video on that. You can click right up here. So from the get-go, all of us who are subscribed to either PlayStation Now or PlayStation Plus will be moved over to the PlayStation Essential tier. PlayStation Essentials actually cost the exact same as what PlayStation Plus costs right now. That's $9.99 for a month, $24.99 for 3 months, or $59.99 for a year. So as far as that's concerned, we're all going to be on Essential. Nothing's changed there. Like I said though, PlayStation has officially stopped people from stacking codes. If you guys didn't know, people were buying PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now subscription codes so that they could stack their memberships up so that when the new PlayStation Plus tiered system comes out, they would have all this time saved up and they wouldn't have to buy into the new tiered system. Well, this backfired horribly on them because PlayStation ended up closing all that down and throwing up this really obnoxious chart about how all of this is going to end up breaking down into your current subscription service. So hold with me here, it gets pretty hairy. So if you have purchase codes for PS Plus or PS Now, you will be unable to activate them until either your membership ends or until the new PS Plus service launches in June. So at that point, if you do want to redeem these codes as quote-unquote vouchers, you can do that, but with some serious caveats. So based on the monetary value of that code that you bought, it will be converted to various amounts of the service depending on which tier you choose. For instance, if you aren't a subscriber and you have a 1-month PS Plus voucher, you can either get 31 days of PS Plus Essential, 20 days of PS Plus Extra, or 17 days of PS Plus Premium. IGN did provide a chart that's slightly easier to digest, but as you can see, it's still a pretty big nightmare. I'm not sure whose idea this was over at PlayStation to make this absolute nightmare of a chart to try and help people figure out what all their time is gonna break down to, but this is a mess. I can't imagine they were losing out on that much money. How many people were really going out and stacking codes? Like, you know, a handful, a few thousand people were actually going out and doing this. Obviously, I don't have the numbers, so this is all just speculation on my end. But like I said, there's only so many people out there that could have been doing this, right? Gotta admit, this whole thing puts a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. I feel like they should have just bit the bullet, put everyone on the premium tier at least for a month of their time, and then given you all the time that you had just paid for right up front. I know they would have lost a little bit on the back end, but you would have been making your customers happy, and the people who ended up getting away with getting a deal would have just, you know, felt that much better about themselves. The conversion is one thing. I do get that they probably need to have some sort of chart to break this all down for you, but wouldn't it have been nice if they could have just been like, you know what, we're throwing you all on premium. If you've already bought time, you're good to go, and we're all straight. Obviously, this doesn't totally shaft you if you went out of your way to go buy a bunch of PlayStation codes. You're still gonna get a lot of essential time, so it's not like you're losing out on money necessarily. But obviously, they were hoping to get into that premium tier, and you're totally losing out on that now. I'm actually curious to know if it'd be more worth your time to just upgrade yourself to the premium tier for some sort of extra cost, or if it'd be worth your time to break all this down into the premium time and then add that on to what you have currently. Anyway, I know that's a huge mess. I hope you guys were able to stick with me through that. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments down below. And last but not least, we got an Xbox showcase announcement. Other than Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest, this is the first big game showcase that we've had announced since E3 got canceled a few weeks ago. We did get confirmation of the Xbox and Bethesda Summer Showcase over on Twitter, thanks to the Xbox Twitter account, and tweet reads. Save the date. Catch the Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase on June 12th. We will absolutely be seeing Starfield at this showcase, I promise you. And if it's not there, you can hold me 100% responsible, but I guarantee we will be seeing Starfield here. It is going to be coming out this year. Since we already know that the game is coming out in November, and I absolutely guarantee we're not going to be seeing a delay on this, they have to get this out. Xbox needs a first-party game in their library, especially when it comes to that holiday season. In classic Bethesda fashion, I think they're going to drop a 40-minute gameplay trailer on us, and then I think they're just going to confirm that the game is coming out in November, and we're going to be seeing it and playing it then. Get your moon boots ready, because we're going to be playing Starfield on a fucking Xbox come this holiday season, I promise you. As well, we're probably going to see some stuff like Redfall. I'm hoping we see some other stuff from Obsidian, maybe even a little Scorn in there. Anyway, let me know what you guys are excited for down below. Obviously, I'm very stoked about Starfield, and I'd really like to see some more stuff out of Avowed if we could. Obviously, Xbox hasn't had like a big blowout showcase in quite some time now, so we are definitely overdue for some good Xbox content here. Anyway, I'm Brandon. This was News Roundup. Yeehaw! Thanks for watching. Remember, I'm at Flustered Tomcat over on Twitter, and have a kick-ass week.